As students, good afternoon to all. So I welcome you all in this fluid mechanics lecture. So shall we start our lecture? So today we are going to start the new unit from the our subject. That unit is unit number 2, fluid statics. Okay. So in the unit number 1, in the introduction of the unit number 1, there we have studied the different definitions or the terms used in the fluid mechanics, and the branches of fluid mechanics also we have seen. In that, we have studied there one of the branch of the fluid mechanics. It was the fluid statics, right? And we have also seen the definition of it. So once again, let us revise that. Okay, and before that, entering into the actual content of the syllabus, let us see what are the contents there in the unit number 2. So as per university, they have given the weightage of 9 hours. Within 9 hours, we have to complete this unit. So what are the things we are going to learn in this unit? The pressure variation in the static fluid, then Pascal's law, units and scale of pressure measurement, atmospheric pressure, absolute pressure, gauge pressure, and vacuum pressure. Then piezometer, U-tube manometer, single column manometer, U-tube differential manometer, inverted U-tube manometer, inverted U-tube differential manometer, micromanometers, mechanical pressure gauges. So you can consider this one as a one subunit. Okay, this is one subunit. Then or subtopic we can say. Then second subtopic is about total pressure and center of pressure. Then pressure diagram, total pressure on plane surfaces and curved surface, depth of center of pressure, practical application of total pressures and center of pressure. So this is another subtopic here you can say, and remaining this one. Buoyant force, buoyancy and center of buoyancy, Archimedes principle, metacenter and metacentric height, equilibrium of floating and submerged bodies, metacentric height evaluation, theoretical and experimental method, oscillation of a floating body, then fluids in the relative equilibrium, static fluid subjected to uniform linear acceleration, liquid containers subjected to constant horizontal acceleration, liquid containers subjected to constant vertical acceleration. So these are the contents of these units, and 9 hours weightage has been given by university for the completion of this unit. These are the assignment questions. Okay, this is assignment number 2, and these are the various questions. All of these questions have been asked in various examination, university examination, right? And are very important questions. That's why we have included them in our assignment. So our first question is state and prove the Pascal's law. Then state and prove hydrostatic law. Then explain absolute pressure, atmospheric pressure, gauge pressure, and vacuum pressure with sketch. Then what are the different types of manometers? Explain anyone with the sketch. What are different types of mechanical gauges? Explain anyone with sketch. Derive an expression for total pressure and center of pressure for vertical plane surface submerged, immersed in liquid. Derive an expression for the total pressure and center of pressure for inclined plane surface immersed in liquid. And how will you compute the horizontal and vertical components of total force acting on curved surface, which is in the form of quadrant of circle? Next, define following terms: buoyancy, metacenter and metacentric height. Derive an expression for metacentric height. And last one, explain conditions of equilibrium for floating and submerged bodies. So these were the assignment questions. So you can take the screenshot of this particular slide. So you can write down the assignment simultaneously. As you are, all of you are watching it on your mobile, you can take the screenshot of this particular slide These are the assignment questions. Instead of writing all these things, it will take a lot of time to write these things. You can take the screenshot and you can later on you can write down these questions in your notebook. So let us straightly move into the actual content of this this particular unit number 2, fluid statics. So we have studied the definition of the fluid static. What is the fluid statics? Fluid static is nothing but it is the branch of fluid mechanics that studies incompressible fluids at rest. Okay, so these two words are very important here. Incompressible fluids at rest. Okay, so here you can say that this fluid static, this concept, it can be used mainly for the incompressible fluids, or you can say for the liquids which are at rest condition. Okay, there is a no motion, and as there is a no motion, there will not be a property viscosity. It will not be acting upon there. Okay, in the rest condition, other forces will be responsible here, or we can consider like pressure force, which is called as the hydrostatic force. Okay, and then gravitational force. This will act upon there. Then surface tension. That surface tension force or surface tensile force, it is just a surface phenomenon. It cannot be considered here in the fluid static, but it can be applied. It can be there at the surface of the liquid, right? So this is the definition. What is that? The branch of fluid mechanics that deals with the study of incompressible fluids at rest. So what are the examples you can give me where these fluids are at rest condition? Yes. Anyone? Okay. No one is giving the answer. My question is, tell me the situations or the conditions where you come across this term fluid at rest, or where you observe the fluid which is in rest condition. Fluid in the dams, water behind the dam, okay, or the reservoir, that water is in rest condition, right? This is one example. Then water stored in the tank, elevated tank or ground based tanks. So that is also another example of the fluid at rest condition, right? Ocean, समुद्राचं जे पाणी आहे, that is in rest condition. It is not motion. No, it is not moving from one place to another. So we see the waves. That waves are at the surface only, right? But most of the body of the water, it is in rest condition. It encompasses the study of the conditions under which the fluids are at rest in stable equilibrium, as opposed to the fluid dynamics, where the study of the fluid is in motion. Okay. So in case of fluid dynamics and fluid, we can say fluid kinematics, the fluids are in motion, but in case of the fluid statics, the fluids are in motion. This theory is employed to calculate the force on the submerged objects such as ships, parts of the ships and submarine. So this particular concept of this fluid statics, these are helpful to understand the forces acting on the ship. Okay. This is the water level, water surface. Suppose this is one container, and how much force is acting here on this particular container? Or suppose the submarine is there, which is submerged completely below the water, and how much pressure that hydrostatic force is going to act on this submarine. So to find out this, we should have the knowledge of the fluid statics, right? Then the other application of this theory is in the calculation of the force on the dam. Just now we have discussed about that. Suppose this is the dam wall, okay, and there is a water on the upstream side of the dam. Then how much hydrostatic force is going to act when the dam will be completely filled? When the reservoir is completely filled, how much hydrostatic force, total pressure force is going to act on this wall of the dam? So that can be calculated with the help of fluid statics, right? And based upon this total pressure force and the location of that total pressure force, where it is acting, for which we have the terms which is called as the center of pressure. Okay, so these two things, it can be calculated by using this hydrostatic fluid statics, and then we can design the size of the dam. Okay, depending upon these factors. The other application of the theory of the, yeah, it has more, and other hydraulic systems. So this is applicable in other hydraulic systems also. Okay. So also it has the application in determining the pressure at different levels of atmosphere. So you know that around the surface of Earth, around our Earth, there is a layer of air or the gases, and which is called as the atmosphere. Okay, atmosphere is nothing but it is one sphere. Okay, which is filled with the different types of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, then helium, then carbon dioxide, CH4, methane. So all these gases are there. Inert gases like neon. These gases are present in this sphere, which is called as the atmosphere. And if you want to determine the value of atmospheric pressure at different location, this atmospheric pressure is not constant along with the altitude. Okay, along with the height, it varies. So to determine this value of atmospheric pressure at different levels of this altitude, we need to take the help of this fundamentals of the fluid statics. Okay, so here now we are going to learn what are the fundamentals that are there from this fluid static. Okay, very first thing is that we should know what is pressure, because this hydrostatic statics, it is completely, it is based upon the pressure. Okay, or we can say hydrostatic pressure. Okay, it is completely based upon the pressure exerted by the fluid on the surrounding surface, surrounding wall, where it is coming in contact with that particular container. Okay, so first of all, we should know what is meaning of the pressure, then the units which are used for the pressure. So here in the fluid mechanics, we can define the pressure as the force which is exerted by the fluid, the force divided by the area perpendicular to the force over which the force is applied. Are you getting my point? Suppose this is a container filled with the water, then the pressure force acting, or this pressure acting on this wall of the container, it can be defined as it is the force per unit area, particular area will be there, okay, divided by the area perpendicular. So it is divided by force divided by area. What area it is? It is the area on which the force is acting in perpendicular direction. Okay, so that thing it should be remembered. Are you getting the point? The force divided by the area perpendicular to the force how is that area? That area is perpendicular, means to the any surface or the any area, the hydrostatic force always acts in perpendicular direction. Okay, suppose I will clear the screen. Suppose there is a liquid or water inside here, which is stored here. Though this surface you are observing, it has incline. Okay, जरी हा incline असेल तरी याच्यावरती ऍक्ट होणारा जो प्रेशर आहे तो कसा असेल, किंवा ऍक्ट होणारा जो हायड्रोस्टॅटिक फोर्स आहे, हाऊ इट विल ऍक्ट? It will act in normal direction or perpendicular direction. Okay, so this is the definition of pressure. P is equal to F upon A, that is force per unit area, perpendicular area to the force. Then what will be the unit for this? Yes, a unit for the pressure will be Pascal. 1 Pascal is nothing but it is 1 Newton per meter square. This scientist Pascal, he has done a lot of work on this higher fluid statics. Okay, he has done a lot of work on the pressure force. So therefore, the unit Newton per meter square, it has been termed as 1 Pascal. Okay, and 1 Pascal is equal to how much Newton per meter square? 1 bar is equal to 1 bar. Bar is again a unit of measurement of pressure. 1 bar is equal to 1 lakhs pascals, or 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. So this conversion, you should note it down in your notebook. 1 bar is equal to 1 lakh Newton per meter square, or 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. Write down the title in your notebook, Pascal's law. Now we are going to learn the derivation for the Pascal's law. What is Pascal's law? First we'll see the statement and then we'll see the derivation part for this. This law is very important. Based upon this law, there are many machineries or the hydraulic machines, they work on this Pascal's law. Let it be your hydraulic brake, your disc brake is there, which works on the hydraulic system. It works on the Pascal's law. Then all the hydraulic system in the JCB or the backhoe loader, it works on this Pascal's law, right? What does it mean, this Pascal's law? What does it says? The pressure applied at one point, okay, or here as per this definition, it says that the pressure acting at any point in all direction, it will be same. The pressure acting from downward direction at this particular point, it must be equal to the pressure acting in downward direction. The upward direction and downward direction act on the pressure force, as well as here this force, this force, this force. So direction can be anything, but the magnitude of the pressure, it can be same. Okay, this is the Pascal's law. Or in other words, in a closed hydraulic system, the pressure remains same everywhere. Okay, hydraulic ram, hydraulic jack, these are the examples of Pascal's law. Okay, then our disc brake of your vehicle, two-wheeler bike. Okay, so the front wheel जो disc brake आहे, it works on the oil. We apply the small pressure on that plunger which is present in that oil. Okay, या ठिकाणी आपला लिव्हर असतो ब्रेकचा, आपण हा प्रेस केला की याच्यामध्ये प्रेशर क्रिएट होतो, and that pressure it will be transmitted equally. जेवढा या ठिकाणी प्रेशर असेल तेवढाच प्रेशर या ठिकाणी पण ट्रान्सफर होतो. सो दॅट इज नथिंग बट पास्कल्स लॉ. जेवढा या ठिकाणी आपण ब्रेक दाबलाय, जेवढा प्रेशर आपण अप्लाय केलाय, तेवढा प्रेशर त्या डिस्क वरती ते जे शूज असतात, ब्रेक शूज, they are going to apply that same amount of pressure on that disc, right? So how we can define this Pascal's law? It states that the pressure or intensity of pressure at a point in a static fluid is equal in all direction. Okay, just now we have discussed this. That is, suppose if Px is the Px, Py, Pz, these are the three forces Px, Py, and Pz acting at the same point, then this Pascal's law says that this Px must be equal to Py, it must be equal to Pz, dot dot dot. Okay, n number of forces can be there depending upon different directions, so that pressures will be same everywhere acting on it. Let us consider, let us see now the derivation part of it, of the Pascal's law. Here in this derivation, you can see to derive this expression for the Pascal's law, we have considered a very small and fluid element. ज्या फ्लुइड मध्ये आपल्याला पास्कल्स लॉ डिराइव्ह करायचा, फ्लुइडचा एक छोटा एलिमेंट आपण घेतला. You can take any shape of it. Okay, it can be triangular, it can be rectangular, it can be square, it can be circular. We can take any shape. It doesn't matter, because the object shape which we are taking, or that fluid element which we are taking, it is very small. Okay, so it doesn't matter which shape we take. Okay, so that we call it as a arbitrary shape. Okay, arbitrary shape means of any shape. Okay, for simplicity of the derivation, here we have considered this shape of the fluid element as a wedge shape. Okay, कसला shape आपण या ठिकाणी consider केलाय? It is wedge shape. Wedge shape means what? Wedge shape is nothing but the shape like this. Front मधून जर आपण बघितला तर आपल्याला हा ट्रायंगल दिसेल, and it will have some unit width, आणि ह्यालाच काय असेल, एक छोटी width पण असेल. So this shape is called as the wedge shape. त्याचा आपण लाकडाचा तुकडा पाहिला असेल एक ट्रायंगुलर शेप मध्ये, आणि त्याला एक छोटी अशी या ठिकाणी विड्थ असते. सो दॅट शेप इज कॉल्ड एज द वेज शेप, राईट. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, दिस इज अ वेज शेप. ओके, it is having a triangular shape, and it is having some thickness, right? So we can call it as a wedge shape. So like that, one small fluid element we have considered, which is having the wedge shape. Okay, and the fluid is in rest condition. Let the width of the fluid element perpendicular to the plane of paper is unity. Now, as we are observing here, this is a triangle, okay, triangular shape. So its width will be perpendicular to the what? To the plane of paper, or to the screen. Now here we are observing here on the screen. So it is perpendicular. This width is perpendicular to the screen of the your mobile, or to the screen of your laptop, and it is having width of unity, 1 unit. Okay, 1 meter, 1 centimeter. That is called as a unity. Yes. Anyone having any doubt? Okay, now here to derive this this Pascal's law, here we have taken this shape, and we are considering the different pressure forces acting on this particular wedge. Okay, we have given the names here to the different corners of the triangle here, A, B, C. We have given here the angle name as angle theta. Then this is size is called as the dx, this is the dy, and this side of the triangle is represented by letter ds. Okay, then let us consider the pressure force, or the pressure acting on this particular side AB is represented by letter px. The pressure intensity acting on this side vertical direction, it is given by the notation py, and the pressure intensity acting on the side ds is represented by letter pz. Okay, so according to this Pascal's law, this all forces acting on this fluid element, okay, which is very small in size, So all these pressure forces, they must be same, they must be equal. Means mathematically we can say that Px is equal to Py equal to Pz. Okay, so this is the mathematical expression of the Pascal's law. Okay, Pascal's law is a mathematical expression. Now we are going to derive the same thing. We are going to show that this pressure force Px, Py, Pz are same. Okay, now here if we consider this side, okay, having wedge shape, having the width unity, you can say 1 meter. Now what will be the area of this wedge? Yes, area of this wedge will be equal to this height, which is represented by letter dy. Okay, this his side it is represented by dx. This height or the length is represented by letter dy, and this side is represented by letter ds, right? Now the area, this area will be equal to this height, that is dy, multiplied by the width, that is unity. So the area of this side will be equal to dy into 1 or equal to dy. Okay, this is the area. Now what will be the pressure force? Px is the pressure intensity, but what is pressure force? Pressure intensity is nothing but it is force per unit area. So pressure force F will be equal to pressure intensity multiplied by cross sectional area on which that force is acting, right? So now here you can say that pressure force will be equal to Px into, this is the area. So here we can write pressure force is equal to Px dot dy dot 1. Okay, this is the pressure force acting in this direction or horizontal direction. Now what is the pressure force acting in this vertical direction on this side? So here again same principle we have to apply. What is the pressure intensity acting in upward direction, which is represented by letter Py, and then cross section area, that will be dx. Okay, this is the dx into width, that is unity. Okay, this is the pressure force acting from downward to upward. Next thing here, pressure force because of this horizontal, that pressure intensity Pz will be represented by letter Pz into ds into 1. What is ds? This side into 1 means into unity. So you will get the pressure force acting on that side. Now after that, after knowing one more force is acting here on this fluid element, what are the various forces acting on here? These are the pressure forces or hydrostatic forces acting on this fluid element, and the self weight of the object or the wedge, that force is acting also there, right? So these four forces are acting there. Now let us consider the horizontal and vertical components of the forces acting here, and then okay. Pressure force. So just now whatever we have discussed, so that things are mentioned here. Pressure on forces on face AB. AB means vertical side. Vertical side वरती कोणकोणते pressure, how to derive the pressure force? That is Px, this is pressure intensity multiplied by area of face AB. Px into dy into 1. Similarly for the BC, Px into dy into dx into 1. Okay, then force on the BC, Pz into ds into 1, right? Weight of the fluid element, it is acting in downward direction. How to find out that? We know that weight of the fluid element is nothing but it is product of specific weight of the fluid multiplied by the volume. We have learned that pressure that fluid weight or the weight density is nothing but it is the weight of the fluid per unit volume of the fluid, right? Therefore, weight of the fluid element will be equal to gamma into V. Okay. So V is nothing but it is volume. Right. So here you can see putting that volume in this equation, gamma into volume. So here the value of volume will be very small because we have considered very small fluid element. Okay. Volume pile, this will be the formula for finding the volume of the wedge, which volume AB half into base into height. That is the formula to find out the area, right? Half is base AC and this height AB, right? This is the cross section area. This is the area of the triangle, and unity is the width. So multiplied by 1, you will get this fluid element formula for this finding the weight of the fluid element. Now, if you look at the size of the fluid element, it is very, very small as compared to these forces. Okay. ह्याची व्हॅल्यू ह्याची साईज जी आहे ती खूप खूप लहान आहे, and because of this this weight of the fluid element can be neglected. Why the weight will be small, very small? Because it has a very small dimension. कशाच्या? तो जो वेज शेप आहे त्या वेज शेपचे डायमेन्शन जे आहे ते खूप स्मॉल आहेत. For example, if I consider the size of the wedge shape as a 1 centimeter and tell here this is 1 centimeter and this is 1 centimeter, then what is going to happen? Half into base into height. Base is 1 centimeter, so that is 10 to the power minus 2 multiplied by this side 10 to the power minus 2. So total it has become 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter. Okay, so it will become 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, power 10 to the power 4 minus 4 centimeter square. So this size is very, very small. Okay, ही जी व्हॅल्यू आहे खूप लहान आहे, आणि याला परत आपण हे क्रॉस सेक्शन एरिया जर परत ह्याला जर आपण त्याची विड्थने मल्टिप्लाय केलं ती पण जर 1 सेंटीमीटर असेल तर काय होईल? टोटल व्हॉल्यूम विल बिकम 10 टू द पॉवर मायनस 6, आणि हा प्रेशर फोर्स जो आहे तो पॉझिटिव्ह मध्ये व्हॅल्यू आहे, अँड दिस इज व्हेरी व्हेरी स्मॉल. सो वी कॅन निग्लेक्ट त्याचा प्रोडक्ट जो आहे खूप लहान आला आहे, त्यामुळे आपण हे जे वेट ऑफ द फ्लुइड एलिमेंट आहे हे आपण या ठिकाणी निग्लेक्ट करू शकतो. Are you getting my point? Now here we are going to what I can say, we are going to resolve these forces. कोणकोणती फोर्सेस आहेत? एक pressure force acting in horizontal direction, one pressure force acting in vertical direction, another force acting in inclined direction, and self weight of the object which is acting in downward direction. Okay, these are the 4 forces acting on this fluid element. So let us consider the forces acting in x direction, resolving forces in x direction. Okay, under equilibrium condition we can what we can do, we can sum the all horizontal forces and equate to 0, right? So the same thing we are going to do here. All the horizontal forces we will equate here. One first horizontal force which is acting on this AB side, this is A and this is B side. So this is the first force, that is Px into this force px into dy into 1. So considering the right direction as a positive, okay, so this will be plus sign, and then there are only two forces acting in horizontal direction, this force and this px py pz. This pz force, pz into ds into 1, this one force and this no, this is second force, these two forces are acting in x direction. Okay, now this force, it has a direction opposite to this force, so it has to be taken minus, and its horizontal component we have to find out because it is inclined force, right? So what will be the horizontal component of this force? For knowing that horizontal component, we have to go back to the previous figure here. Who will tell me what is the horizontal component of this ds, pz ds? Suppose if I draw a horizontal line here like this force will have the projection here, right? pz ds. Now what is this angle? What will be this angle? This angle is theta, as this is a perpendicular to each other, this line and this line, so this angle will be Akail 90 minus theta, right? Now consider this particular side. Now in this side, this angle is 90 minus theta, and this total angle is 90. So 90 minus theta, 90 minus 90 minus theta means this angle. So this angle will be theta, right? म्हणजे हा जो angle आला, हा angle आला theta. So what will be its projection on this side? It will be pz ds into, now the angle, the direction is here opposite, so you can take here minus pz ds, angle here it will be cos of angle theta. So this component is nothing but this one, horizontal component, minus p2 pz ds into cos of theta. So remember this on the next slide when we go. Yes, here you can see this one. This is, and this one equating to 0, pz ds into 1 cos theta equating to 0, then you will get here this equation. Okay, ds cos theta equal to, now what is ds cos theta? Whatever the ds cos theta is there, what is this ds cos theta? Let us consider here the trigonometry of this figure. Cos theta is nothing but it is adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. This is the angle theta, this is the adjacent side, this is hypotenuse. So cos theta is equal to AB, adjacent side divided by hypotenuse, that is BC. Therefore BC is equal to AB is equal to Kyle BC cos theta. What is BC? BC is nothing but it is ds. Okay, so BC cos theta च्या ऐवजी आपल्याला काय लिहिता येईल त्या ठिकाणी, this side and dy. Okay, so here ds cos theta जो आहे, ds cos theta means ds, this is the ds. Okay, once again I will tell you, do not get confused. This is the angle theta. What is sin theta? Sin theta is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse, that is dx by ds. right? What is cos theta? Cos theta is equal to adjacent, that is dy by hypotenuse, that is ds. Therefore, dy is equal to ds cos theta. Okay. Now, instead of this ds cos theta in that equation, here ds cos theta जो आपण दिलाय, instead of this ds cos theta, what I can write? I can write dy. So I will put there dy in that equation. So I will put, instead of this ds cos theta, I can put dy. So I have put instead of this I put here dy. So this is it as it is. This part will be as it is, and we have got this equation. Okay. Now pz. Now here what is going to happen? This term will go on this side, and we can equate this. So we'll equating this because after taking this pz on the right hand side, we can equate this. So this dy and this dy will get cancelled, and at last here we get px is equal to pz. This is our equation number 1. Okay. Similarly, now what we have to do? Here we have resolved the forces in x direction. We have to resolve the forces in y direction, and after resolving that, we will get another equation like similar to this one. Okay. So let us do that. Vertical component now. If we see here in this diagram, what are the various vertical component? Vertical forces are there. One is this force, and another, this is the component, vertical component of this force. These are the two forces only acting here. Okay. So ह्या दोन फोर्स आपल्याला ठिकाणी एका करायचे रिझॉल्व्ह करायचे. ऑल्सो सेल्फ वेट, हे स्वतःचं वेट पण जे ऍक्टिंग इन डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन आहे, हे तीन फोर्सेस त्या ठिकाणी ऍक्ट होत आहेत. सो दॅट वी हॅव टू रिझॉल्व्ह, राईट. py, so vertical force in upward direction, considering it as a positive, downward direction taking as a negative. So this py, first force will be py into dx. Okay, this is first force. Second force, component of this force in downward direction. There's a component file in downward direction. It will be pz ds into cos 90 minus theta. Let us see here. With this horizontal, this is angle theta, right? And this force, that's a force have vertical component which is acting in downward direction. That will be pz ds. हा component आपण मग घेतला होता त्या ठिकाणी म्हटलं होतं आपण cos theta. आता या ठिकाणी काय sin theta. Okay. pz ds sin theta will be the vertical component acting in downward direction. And one more component, so that is weight which is acting in downward direction. So we have to take minus sign there also. Okay. So py into dx into 1 minus pz into dx into this sin 90 minus theta means it will be cos 90 minus theta means sin theta, right? So it will become sin theta only, minus this component weight of the fluid element, that is nothing but volume of the, how we can find out this weight of this object. See here, we know the weight density of the fluid is equal to, it is the weight per unit volume. So the weight of this wedge, as a wedge आहे जो छोटा fluid element, त्याचा weight काय असेल, it will be nothing but weight density multiplied by volume, right? So what is the volume of this wedge? The volume of wedge, this wedge of this wedge is nothing but this area of triangle multiplied by the width unity. Okay. So here gamma into, we can write this volume as dx dy. This is dx, this is dy, divided by 2. Okay, half into base into height, so that is the cross section area, multiplied by 1. 1 means the unit width, so this is the volume, right? Now here you can see this equation. Okay, हे तीन आपल्याला फोर्स झाले 1 2 3, putting that in this equation. Now here this one force and this is another force. This force is neglected. हा जो फोर्स आहे हा त्या ठिकाणी वेट निग्लेक्ट केला जाईल. Why it will be neglected? Weight of the fluid element, because its weight will be very small as compared to the forces acting on the fluid element. Okay, therefore here we are considering only two forces, this one and this is the component of this inclined force acting in downward direction. Now again, if you look at the equation, this part ds cos theta. Okay, what is ds cos theta? Ds cos theta, if you see in the triangle, this triangle applying the trigonometry, what is cos theta? Cos theta is nothing but it is adjacent by hypotenuse, right? So cos theta is equal to adjacent, that is dy by ds. So ds is equal to या ठिकाणी cos theta का sin theta त्या ठिकाणी, oh sin theta is there. See here, this is the first force, this is the second force, and this is the third force. Okay, dx dy dz. Now ds sin theta is nothing but, I will draw here a diagram. This is angle theta, this is dy, this is dx, this is ds, right? What is sin theta? Sin theta is equal to opposite side, that is dx divided by hypotenuse, that is ds. So dx will be equal to ds sin theta, right? So instead of this ds sin theta, we can write dx. Okay, and this part, as the volume is very small, its dimensions are very small, dimensions of the width height is very small, we can neglect this weight component and we can take only this part. Okay, here I neglect करून टाकायचं equation मध्ये. And equating these two, so if we take this here on the RHS, it will become py dx is equal to pz into dx. This dx will get cancelled and you will get the finally equation py equal to pz. This is equation number 2. Okay, अशा ह्या दोन इक्वेशन या ठिकाणी आपल्याला झाले. Now if you look at equation number 1, equation number 1 is nothing but it is px equal to pz, and equation 2 is px is py equal to pz. लेक्चर सब है. See here, या ठिकाणी आपला अनालॉजी काय करायची आहे, इक्वेशन जर a is equal to b असेल आणि b is equal to c असेल, then we can say that a equal to b equal to c. Similarly, the same logic it has been used here in equation 1. Equation number 1 we have written there px is equal to pz. Equation number 2 सांगते p equal to pz. So therefore from equation 1 and 2 we can say that px is equal to py equal to pz. Okay, so जे आपल्याला प्रूव्ह करायचं होतं, so that we have derived here px equal to py equal to pz. The above equation shows that the pressure at any point in xyz direction is equal, right? Since the choice of the fluid element was completely arbitrary, म्हणजे कुठलीही आपण या ठिकाणी त्याचा शेप घेऊ शकतो, which means that the pressure at any point in the is the same in all direction. You can take rectangle, you can take circle, any kind of shape you can take here and derive this equation. Okay. So the choice of the fluid element is not the mandatory case, because already at last, what is going to happen, as this fluid element is very, very small in nature as compared to the, so this will have very small weight which can be neglected, because the pressure force this will be very large as compared to this fluid weight. Why it will be very small? Because if you consider the dimensions, 1 mm into 1 mm, right? So 1 mm is nothing but it is 10 to the power minus 3 meter into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. Okay. And then into 1 mm thickness. So it will become 10 to the power minus 3. So it will have the dimensions 10 to the power minus 9 here, into weight, weight density, that is 9810, or you can say around of 10,000. Okay. So this 4 value will have here this 10 to the power minus 4, the 10 to the power minus 9 and 10 to the power 4. Okay. हे आपण कॅन्सल केले तरी या ठिकाणी पॉवर किती येते 10 to the power 5 येते. So this 10 to the power 5 again very large, very small figure. Okay. And this pressure it may be in 1 meter, 2 meter, like that. Okay. So as compared to this value will be very, very small. So this, because of that, this can be neglected. Okay. So this was the Pascal's law. Everyone understood this? Derivation of Pascal's law, quite simple. Just here, first of all, we have to decide give the nomenclature to this different types of pressure forces. Pressure intensity acting on x direction is Px. Pressure intensity acting on upward direction, on this horizontal direction, okay, side, that is Py. आणि incline ह्याच्यावरती ऍक्ट होणारी प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी PZ. आणि त्याच्या प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी नंतर प्रेशर फोर्सेस. ओके. प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी आपण अगोदर डिफाईन केली आणि त्याच्यानंतर प्रेशर फोर्स फाइंड आउट केले. तर हा प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी मल्टिप्लाइड बाय ज्याच्यावरती ऍक्ट होतो तो एरिया, दॅट इज नथिंग बट प्रेशर फोर्स. ओके. हे जे आपल्या डायग्राम मध्ये दिसत आहेत, सो दिस व्हॅल्यूज आर नथिंग बट दिस आर द प्रेशर फोर्सेस. ओके. हा एक प्रेशर फोर्स आहे, हा एक आणि हा एक प्रेशर फोर्स. हे 3 प्रेशर फोर्स हे वेगवेगळ्या डायरेक्शननी ह्या फ्लुइड एलिमेंट वरती ऍक्ट होत आहेत. ठीक आहे. आणि याचा सेल्फ वेट, स्वतःचं वेट जे ऍक्ट करते डाऊनवर्ड डायरेक्शन मध्ये. असे 4 फोर्सेस या फ्लुइड एलिमेंट वरती ऍक्ट होत आहेत. आणि मग आपण नंतर काय केलं त्या ठिकाणी, ऍज दिस फ्लुइड एलिमेंट इज इन इक्विलिब्रियम कंडिशन, कंडिशन ऑफ इक्विलिब्रियम आपण त्या ठिकाणी वापरल्या. ओके. रिझॉल्विंग फोर्सेस इन एक्स डायरेक्शन, एक्स डायरेक्शन मध्ये रिझॉल्व्ह केलं आणि कंडिशन त्या ठिकाणी फाइंड आउट केली. एक्स डायरेक्शन मध्ये आपण ज्यावेळेस रिझॉल्व्ह केलं त्यावेळेस कोणकोणते फोर्सेस होते, एक म्हणजे हा फोर्स आणि दुसरा म्हणजे या फोर्सचा हॉरिझॉन्टल कंपोनंट. ओके. हे 2 फोर्सेस आपण त्या ठिकाणी घेतले, इक्वेट इक्वल टू 0, राईट. त्याच्यानंतर आपण काय केलं, व्हर्टिकल फोर्सेस त्या ठिकाणी कन्सिडर केले. दिस इज 1 फोर्स, या फोर्सचा हा व्हर्टिकल कंपोनंट आणि सेल्फ वेट, हे 3 फोर्सेस आपण त्या ठिकाणी इक्वेट केले. आणि ते इक्वेट केले कशाला, 0 इक्वेट केले, कारण अंडर इक्विलिब्रियम कंडिशन. ओके. आणि इक्वेट केल्यानंतर आपल्याला पहिल्या केसमध्ये इक्वेशन भेटली Px इज इक्वल टू PZ आणि दुसऱ्या ह्याच्यामध्ये इक्वेशन भेटली Py इक्वल टू PZ, राईट. आफ्टर सॉल्विंग दिस, मग हे 2 आपण काय केले, 2 इक्वेशन इक्वेट केल्या. ओके. फ्रॉम इक्वेशन 1 and 2 वी गॉट हिअर द कंडिशन Px इज इक्वल टू Py इक्वल टू PZ. ओके. तर अशा पद्धतीने आपल्याला हे डेरिव्हेशन परीक्षेमध्ये जर विचारलं तर आपल्याला सोडवायचं. पुढचा आपला जो लॉ आहे दॅट इज हायड्रोस्टॅटिक लॉ. ओके. पास्कल्स लॉ झाला. नेक्स्ट आहे आपला हायड्रोस्टॅटिक लॉ. सो दॅट विल सी इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर, in next session at 3 o'clock. So at present time is about to finish, so I will take your attendance. Okay. Thank you for your patience.